You know the drill, it's Monday Movie Pickup. Alright, so quite a few new movies this week. Some of them were bought for Patreon requests, so I think we'll just go through a couple of those first to give you a little sneak preview as to what's coming this month. The Peanut Butter Falcon. I never got to see this movie in theaters. I really wanted to. Shia LaBeouf's in the film. Someone requested it for a Patreon review, so finally I'm gonna get a chance to see that. The 2014 remake of Annie, or new adaptation, I guess, of the musical. I did see this in theaters originally. I remember liking it enough. I haven't felt compelled to watch it again, but it was fun. Will Gluck makes fun movies. He usually nails movies pretty well, aiming for exactly the kind of thing it needs to be. Hit and Run, Dax Shepard's directorial debut, I believe. This was a movie that he directed. If you read about the production of this movie, it's pretty interesting. They made the movie over the course of just a couple weeks. It's essentially the modern day version of Smokey and the Bandit. I guess I was expecting a little more out of it. I do like Dax Shepard a lot. Has a really good podcast. I do have some other movies here though. The Kino Classics edition of Fear and Desire. This is Stanley Kubrick's directorial debut, actually. A lot of people don't know about this one. Everyone kind of goes back to Killer's Kiss. But really, this was the first movie he made. It's just over an hour, so pretty short. And he's kind of... he didn't really disown it, but he definitely didn't like to include it with his history. I think he had the original print of this film and kind of hid it away so no one could ever see it again. It's just very quickly done. There's an idea there, but it's just not fully fleshed out. But it's definitely coming from someone who was an amateur at the time. You'll Like My Mother. This is a movie that was made in Minnesota, not only Minnesota, Duluth, Minnesota, at Glensheen Mansion. I've never seen it. I've always meant to. I've said many times on this show and in my videos before that I try as hard as I can to see as many movies that take place in Minnesota, especially ones that are made in the area that I live in. So I think it's kind of ridiculous to not see this at this point. It's surprising that it's not talked about more around here, because being that Glensheen is so popular and that people love different movies that were filmed in the Duluth area, like Iron Will, for instance. It's weird that this one never comes up, so I don't know if there's a reason for that. Maybe it's not that great. Of course, Knives Out. I mean, what's there to really say about this that hasn't already been said? It is a great movie, great murder mystery that's infused in the genre. It's also a tribute to the genre. And the final thing today, Star Wars. Like the other Star Wars movies I've gotten since Disney has bought the rights to them, I've been getting all the Target editions, which, like the other ones, it comes in this gigantic case that has a full spread of different images. And the reason I pretty much get it is for the exclusive bonus disc. That's just a DVD, and having watched it, the documentary that's for the making of the movie is 2 hours long. For being 2 hours, it's not nearly as interesting as I think it should have been. It doesn't really go into the entire saga, because I figured once they got to the third movie that, hey, now we can talk about the entire trilogy and any secrets that we had, but from that making of that they have, it seems still very dry. It's cool to see some of the practical sets they built. I'm surprised just how much of it was done practically, and it seems like everyone's having a real fun time on this movie. So it just disappointed me that it didn't go nearly into the nitty-gritty that I was hoping for. Maybe in the future they could do something like Empire of Dreams, where they really go into this trilogy. They could still do that for the prequel trilogy, but it just hasn't been done. This bonus disc is basically 25 minutes, which is a pretty good runtime for a bonus disc. Some of the other ones I've gotten, they're a lot shorter, but it's basically like deleted scenes from the 2-hour documentary. So if you just want the extra 25 minutes, I would get this set. I like being a completionist with my special features, and yeah, these sets are always nice. Good packaging. I really like these. And Target has pretty much standardly been doing these now, save for the special edition the Target edition that they did of Force Awakens, which was just really stupid. It was this little like cardboard sleeve thing, and it was just awful. I was not a fan of that. But then they re-released Force Awakens on a 3D version that had an audio commentary. It was much better. So maybe they knew about that and didn't make the big package then. But since then, for Rogue One, Last Jedi, and for this one, they've made these big packages. They didn't do it for Solo because I guess the movie didn't make enough money. I was thinking of getting the big trilogy box set that they were selling at Best Buy, and they had it on Walmart's website too for like $100 less. That didn't have the 4K discs, which, you know, I didn't really need the 4K discs anyway. But then that link disappeared. I couldn't find it on their site anymore. I looked many times, and then, you know, the Best Buy version was still there, but it was a limited edition, so I figured it's going to go out of print, and I don't really want to pay $100 more, especially if the special features aren't any different. But I figured there'd be new special features because there was 9 extra discs this time, 9 bonus discs. After doing some research on it, it looks like for the most part it's not new special features. It's basically taking stuff from previous Blu-rays, from previous DVD releases, and putting them on discs. Plus, there's a few new snippets here and there. And instead of just having everything on 3 discs like they did for the other set, where the prequels got 1 disc, the original trilogy got 1 disc, and then they had an extra disc for all the documentaries, they decided to split it up among the movies, which isn't a bad idea. I would like a set that's a little more organized than the 2011 Blu-ray, because honestly, navigating those special features is awful. It always has been. I don't even think I've still seen absolutely everything on those discs because they don't really organize it well. They made it into like a stupid game, and come on, if you're doing special features, list them all so you can go one by one or have a play all feature. Don't mess with me. Do not turn it into a game. But with the new sets, I guess they just decided to divide everything up among movies, which is kind of nice. However, there's not really new material. Sure, they take stuff from the DVDs, but I already have the DVDs. I don't really need a Blu-ray disc to watch an SD quality version of The Beginning from The Phantom Menace, which it's a great documentary, but what's the point of owning it again if you already have the DVD? It's just a lot of extra money to rebuy a lot of special features, especially when there's not really anything new. It's the same discs for the sequels that were released in previous editions, so really all you're getting is 6 new discs that have a bunch of special features from previous editions plus a few new snippets, and even then I don't think any of those sets include any of the bonus discs that were sold at Target for The Last Jedi and for Rise of Skywalker here. And, you know, it doesn't have Rogue One and their special version that came from Target with their extra disc, because Rogue One's not even in the set, Solo's not in the set, the Ewok movies aren't in the set, the holiday special still isn't, so I doubt that'll ever get a release. But most importantly, the unaltered versions are not on the discs, which, when I heard of the set and they were going to have so many extra bonus discs, I thought they were going to put the unaltered versions on there. This at least now proves that they're probably, because I don't think Disney will never release them. I think they have enough rights to do it at this point, especially since they own 20th Century Fox, who owned the rights forever to A New Hope. But I'm guessing they signed, when George Lucas sold the rights, I'm guessing there was a contract signed somewhere pretty much stating that that version could never be released. But I could see Disney being like, come on bro, we own these now, and if we release the unaltered versions, it would be like the highest grossing Blu-ray of all time. So you have to let us have the rights. And he probably was like, fine, pay me an extra $1 billion and then you can't release it until I die. And they said, okay. So I think it'll happen eventually, but that new set, that's why I didn't buy it, because in the end it was pointless, and any extra bits of special features that would come a part of it, I don't know if it'd be worth it at this point, because there's still a lot of my own discs that I could dig through, and it sounds like even though they carried a lot of stuff over and they added new discs for it to spread out, technically it's like less stuff being spread out, because a lot of the documentaries from the 3rd disc of the 2011 version are not even in the set. So what's the point? I mean, they still didn't put from Star Wars The Jedi, that awesome documentary from the 80s that's only ever been released on VHS tape. That's not even in the set. So I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag from what I hear. It's fun, I guess, if you want to get the 4K versions, an easy way to get it all in one batch, but I'm not going for 4K at this point. I don't think I ever will. So, for now, I skipped on it. I'm going to wait on the unaltered versions, and if that means that George Lucas is going to live in there 30 years, or maybe they'll never be released, I at least have the 2006 DVDs. I own like every release of Star Wars, so at this point, I don't think I need to pay $250 for a Best Buy edition. I was gonna pay for the Walmart version, but disappeared. I don't know why. It's not on Amazon either, because Amazon and Disney are like fighting right now. Thanks for watching this. I kind of went off about the Star Wars collection there, but you know, that's what Monday Movie Pickup's about. It's about buying movies, but it's also about buyer beware. I'm trying to help you as consumers to know what best versions of movies to get. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to all my Patreon supporters. For only $7, you can get your own monthly movie review. Ask me to review anything I haven't already. There's also other perks like blogs, exclusive videos, and early access. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And thanks so much for watching this video.